welcome to Eye on Paulsboro. This program comes to you from the Gill Memorial Library here at Broad Street near the Mansfield Creek by the historic bridge. Of course, renovated just a short time ago. The place is simply beautiful. Irma, you've served on this library board, and you walk in here and it feels welcoming.
John, I grew up in the old library because my grandmother, Irma Lodge, was librarian for 40 years, from 1914 until she died in 54. And I just have a love of the library and books, and she instilled that into me, and I hope people in Paulsboro will keep it going.
Well, Jim's going to join us and take us on a tour, but there's a particularly notable piece of clothing hanging by the stairs should you visit here. It's Irma's Girl Scout uniform.
John,
by the way, it would look like it almost fits you now.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was the ugliest green uniform ever. We were Troop 216. Francis Vanneman was our leader, and at St. Paul's Church, and we learned many, many great things.
Some of the stories we'll hear one day. The mayor's going to join us for an update, getting back with the routine of the show. Jim Pratt is going to take us on a tour of the library. Lenny Norvell is going to join us and talk about grieving over pets for all of Lenny Curtis.
Lenny Curtis.
What did I say, Lenny Norvell?
Norvell, yeah.
It's Lenny Curtis. Lenny Norvell will not be with us today. But we will be talking about grieving and pets, which many people love pets. Myself and Janet's rescue animals get very attached. Stay with us. We're coming right back from the Gill Memorial Library.
Multi-policy discount, paperless discount, paid in full discount, homeowners discount, safe driver discount, chipmunk family reunion, someone stole the nuts, squirrel jail, justice.
Countless discounts. Now that's progressive. Call or click today.
Thinking about a new appliance or an LCD TV? Don't think twice. Think Weiss. Weiss True Value has a full line of LCD TVs plus a great variety of appliances. And of course, hardware items like TrueTest paints, Master Mechanic tools, electrical supplies, key duplicating, and Rug Doctor rentals. And for repairs on screens and windows, look no further. Weiss True Value, from making keys to selling appliances and LCD TVs. Don't think twice. Think Weiss. 39 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
For everything, there's a season, and a time for everything under heaven. A time for sharing, a time for caring, a time for remembering, and a time for parting. When that time arrives, let Beth McBride Foley and Thomas D. Foley at the McBride Foley Funeral Home help you in your time of need. Offering a wide variety of funeral services from cremation to traditional, McBride Foley Funeral Home has been helping families with the loss of a loved one with over 50 years of combined service. McBride Foley Funeral Home, 228 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
And welcome back. With me now is the Mayor of Paulsboro, Gary Stevenson. And Mayor, before we start with a general update of the town, of course, you're retired from ExxonMobil, and you work as an undertaker in place as funeral director. We've had two significant passings in town. And when I say that, it's not as if people who we know and we lose aren't significant, but somewhat public figures. Mayor Elwood Hampton left us, and most recently, sort of the unofficial mayor of Broad Street in Paulsboro, along with your grandmother, Newt Weiss.
You talk about two iconic figures that made Paulsboro what it is today, and you talk about Newt Weiss with the hardware store, his dedication to the town all these years, helping every one of us that needed something to fix something in our house. And then you talk about Elwood Hampton, my mentor, the guy that guided me in my career and my life, and just sorry to see them go, but they gave a lasting legacy for all of us to follow.
They really did. And you think about that generation, it's almost as if they would never leave. I mean, I never thought that Elwood wouldn't be here, and I never thought that Newt wouldn't be here.
It's like my grandmother being almost 98. You just think they'll never leave you. They'll always be here forever. But, Elwood coached me and told me, always asked me, even at his age when he was sick, what can I do to help you in your town? What do you need me to do to help you? And that's the kind of man Elwood was. He was a first in a lot of things, but he wasn't looking for accolades. He was looking to be a stalwart in this community, and he was.
And he was. And both he and Newt, very, very successful people and successful family people. Now, Gary, a lot's happened. Thompson Avenue continues to proceed. This has been an odd winter. We had some snow. We had some extreme cold. We had 70-degree weather the other day. So I'm not sure what happens next, but progress continues.
Progress continues on Thompson Avenue. I was out there the other day with the engineers. We lost a few weeks because of the cold, the permafrost in the ground, but it's moving along. They've caught up to those 3 weeks already. New storm line drains being put in all the way to the creek under the old Manchester property. So we're still moving along there, and we got a grant for $280,000 do Pine Street between Broad and Swedesboro Avenue. So we're getting those side streets along done with Thompson. Still looking at another year or so, John, in construction on Thompson, but the residents have been great. They've been waiting 50, 60 years in some cases for Thompson Avenue to be fixed. So we're moving. The water meters will start going in very soon, the next month or so. So we're moving forward. We're moving forward.
And water meters, by the way, were forced upon the municipality by the state, an apparatus I know very well. That was something that over the years, water meters were put in. They weren't read. That system didn't work. You got forced into that.
Yeah, they mandated the state. It was $10,000 a day fine coming up soon. So they're happy with what we're doing. We don't know what it'll do with the bill. Some people will go down slightly, and those that have a lot of kids that are filling swimming pools, it's going to go up. But I think in the end, it's going to stay at about the same rate for most people in town.
Yeah, and it's all, these are all pieces in progress. And back to Thompson Avenue for a second. Those who have driven down there, I'll tell you, the cement conduit, the pipes that are going in, they are huge.
You saw the difference. We went from, 16-inch to 44-inch with pipes. So for what we spent, $7.2 million, and the size of those pipes, I hope we should not see flooding on Thompson anymore.
It's got to be the most expensive infrastructure project ever in the town.
It has to be. But, it needed to be done. It needed to be done. And we have a long-term goal. We're fixing a lot of our streets. It takes money, takes time, and a lot of money we don't have. We get grants, fortunately, through to the state and all. But it is probably the largest ever spent.
Without a question. Update on the plaza?
Plaza, we're working. It's all a signed agreement with Dollar Tree. Around April 1st. They're supposed to be in around that date. That'll help that whole area. And with Dollar Tree's money is going to come the demolition of those buildings, the old Grants building, the old bank building out front, and maybe the photomat, which I want to get the photomat and restore it myself. But we're hoping to, in the next few months, see a lot of progress on the plaza. And then we got 295. We had a meeting with the developers out there, and that's looking a little more promising.
It's an interesting group, by the way.
Oh, it was. It is.
Interesting group. Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
That's an update from Mayor Stevenson, and we'll be right back from the Gill Memorial Library. Stay with us.
Life is a journey that we travel with a lot of uncertainty. When your family is faced with change and you're in need of understanding, direction, honesty, and professionalism, we at the Landolfi Funeral Home have a tradition of assisting you with all of your needs in any way that we can. We offer many affordable funeral services. Please feel free to call us with any questions you may have or visit us at www.landolfifuneralhome.com.
Rizzo Family Chiropractic Center in Gibbstown offers pain relief with a difference. Using specific chiropractic adjustments, Rizzo Family Chiropractic will get to the root of your problem quickly. Bring your headaches, neck, back, joint, or limb pain to Dr. Karen Rizzo. If you have recurring pain, chiropractic can help. Rizzo Family Chiropractic can relieve many sources of pain without extended treatment and ongoing therapy. Give your family the gift of caring professional pain relief with a difference. Rizzo Family Chiropractic.
Come on down Route 55 to the Millville Airport. Visit Smith & Jackson Military Antiques and Firearms, a gun shop with a woman's touch. Buying, selling, and trading firearms and military items, especially seeking World War II, German, Japanese, and American items. Buying single items or entire collections. That's Smith & Jackson Military Antiques and Firearms at the Millville Airport, 21 Peterson Street, next to the Glasstown Brewing Company.
Welcome back. We're with Jim Prats now. By the way, I thought he was employed by the library. He's been a volunteer for 20 years here and a very active volunteer. We're going to have him take us through a tour because there are not only books here and computers, but also a lot of Paulsborough's history is maintained in the older portion of the building, and it's really quite fascinating. Well, Jim, thank you, by the way, and thank you for volunteering.
Oh, you're welcome.
And thank you for the effort because the preservation of history means everything. You can't go forward unless you know where you've been. Now, an unusual display, I say unusual, you walk into a library and there are gowns. So why don't you take us through the display? Fred will shoot footage, so while you're talking, those at home will be able to see what you're talking about.
Okay. What we're doing is we come into our closets upstairs and pull out all of our display stuff. We have tons and tons of stuff. And this month is actually the clothing display. We have clothing from early 1900s to almost the present day. There's wedding gowns. There's a lawyer who was here in town, Mrs. Wainsby. I might be saying her name wrong.
By the way, Mrs. Wainsby was the first female graduate from Temple Law School, and she was quite prominent in her day, and you have a number of her things.
Yeah, her family donated 6 or 8 gowns or dresses from her era, and then there's wedding gowns. Mrs. Valentine's, the librarian here, we have her wedding gown. We have my wedding gown from my wife and I.
You meant your wife's wedding gown.
My wife's wedding gown.
It's okay either way, by the way. I just want to clarify. So if they look at the size, they'll know.
No, they'll know it's not me, yeah.
Okay.
And each month, for excepting the summer, we pull out different things that we have. We have many things coming up. We have genealogy, which is next month. And after that, we have a car show. And after that, we have...
The car show will be outside.
The car show will be outside, yeah. And we have the high school is in May. So the high school, we have many, many coats and sweaters and letters and all types of things from the high school, which is great to come in and see, going back to the 20s.
And a considerable yearbook collection.
Oh, yeah, that goes back to 1938, and then we have some older ones that were not bound volumes like they are today.
Interesting. Also, there's a canine display you have with regards to, from the Paulsboro Police Department. It looked pretty rough.
Yeah, Mr. Connick, okay, who is a Clayton police officer, okay, has brought me a lot of nice things lately. And just this week, he brought in the jacket and the armor that was used by the Paulsboro Canine, okay, and what they do is with the dogs, okay, and it's many items from that, some pictures, the jacket, the armor that they wear, and that's really something quite neat for us to have.
Didn't look very friendly, by the way.
No, it's not.
Tell me about the clock at the top of the stairs.
The clock at the top of the stairs, well, first off, in the 64, they started the museum here. The clock at the up top of the stairs was purchased for about $150, okay? When it was moved from the library when they were doing the expansion, it got a little bit dented and beat up. We've got it pretty much running now, but we need somebody to come in, clock person to come in just to look at it, just to get it going.
That's where we miss Norbert Kaminsky. Yeah. He could have fixed it if he were still here.
He did it time and time again, too.
I would think so.
Yeah.
There's a particularly significant baby blanket. Tell us about that.
The baby blanket that's on the cradle upstairs was from the Paul family, okay, and we've had that in our archives since probably the 60s. I'm not sure exactly who gave it to the library, but a lot of things I don't know.
Now, as you amass these kinds of collections, do you accept things? There are people watching this show. People may have mementos, postcards, things of that nature. How does the library receive gifts of that nature?
Yeah, they can bring, there's very little things that we won't take. The only thing is we can't take large pieces like furniture and stuff like that because we just don't have the room. Although we do have a lot of collections of furniture upstairs. We have beds, we have cradles, we have furniture, we have chairs from the Landslacker house. We have many, many furniture items also.
This can be a busy place, not only storytelling sessions for kids, computers available. I guess we should offer to people, is there a website? How do people keep track of the calendar of events? Do you know, Jim?
Yes, it's on the Facebook account under the Gill Library, and it's also under the regular library website.
Wonderful. And do you have to be a member to come in?
No.
I'm telling you, you can't beat it. Just a comfortable, pleasant place to be. And if you have an interest in some of these artifacts, you should stop. Parking's easy. If you're a Paulsboro alumni person, meaning community alumni, come back and visit. If you've got an item that may fit in here, please consider donating it because it'll be well cared for and preserved for others to see and enjoy. Stay with us. We're coming right back from the Gill Memorial Library.
Multi-policy discount. Paperless discount. Paid in full discount. Homeowners discount. Safe driver discount. Chipmunk family reunion. Someone stole the nuts. Squirrel jail. Justice.
Countless discounts. Now that's progressive. Call or click today.
Thinking about a new appliance or an LCD TV? Don't think twice. Think Weiss. Weiss True Value has a full line of LCD TVs plus a great variety of appliances. And of course, hardware items like True Test paints, Master Mechanic tools, electrical supplies, key duplicating, and Rug Doctor rentals. And for repairs on screens and windows, look no further. Weiss True Value, from making keys to selling appliances and LCD TVs. Don't think twice. Think Weiss. 39 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
For everything, there's a season, and a time for everything under heaven. A time for sharing, a time for caring, a time for remembering, and a time for parting. When that time arrives, let Beth McBride Foley and Thomas D. Foley at the McBride Foley Funeral Home help you in your time of need. Offering a wide variety of funeral services from cremation to traditional, McBride Foley Funeral Home has been helping families with the loss of a loved one with over 50 years of combined service. McBride Foley Funeral Home, 228 West Broad Street, Paulsboro.
And welcome back. With me now is Lenny Curtis, not Lenny Norvell, as I originally said. Lenny is a Paulsboro resident, very active in town, and he had been involved in losing a pet and called me and talked about a service involving compassion and helps people talk to each other when they lose a pet. Now, for people who don't own pets, this may sound strange, but the majority of the people watching this show have either owned a pet or lived with a pet or know somebody who does. And for those who are near animals, they understand how attached one can get, become members of the family. So, Lenny, take us through this, because you called, you were just very sincere and said, John, you guys should know about this. This was very helpful to me. Give us a story.
It all started in the Gloucester County Animal Shelter. I adopted my forever friend, Harry. He has a unique story. He was brought back to the shelter twice, so I was his third home. And he was truly my best friend. And walked him every day. And last Labor Day weekend, I walked him like I normally did, brought him back home, and he wouldn't get up the next day. Took him to the vet. Here he had 5 masses on all of his vital organs. Took him, brought him home. They wouldn't even do any care. They said, bring him home. He didn't last but 48 hours.
Difficult.
Yes, and at that time, in his ashes, when I brought him home, there was a pet support group called Day by Day, which I'm very active in, and just want to spread the word. I had no idea that they existed.
I didn't either. When we've buried many cats, rescued cats, and been to the vet hundreds of times, made big investments at vets. I'd never heard of such a service.
Yes, it was new to me. I've attended their meetings and other activities, and they're very, very helpful. But actually, the support I got came from the town of Paulsboro, and it started with the Paulsboro Record. Kathy Schwarn wrote an article, and the article took off. Before you know it, Harry was in the Gloucester County Times, the Philadelphia Inquirer, the Daily News, Courier Post, and it didn't stop there. I got a call from the man that never sleeps, Gary Stevenson, told me about his situations with his pets and how difficult it was. Councilman Jim Paula called me and encouraged me to adopt again. Don't give up on the dog, give a dog a life. Would call me constantly. Here's a place I know that's got puppies and blah, 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 and you might want to check out this place and that. And so the town really surrounded me, and I owe it a lot to it, and it meant a lot to me.
So now this original group you spoke about, you said they're presently not active, or they are active?
They are active, okay. And they're actually gaining popularity.
All right, so now this card you gave me, is this contact, or who do we direct people to?
Kathy Jennings, Catherine Jennings, and you could call 24 hours a day. Somebody will answer the phone. They will call, talk to you. There's, I believe it's at St. Francis Animal Hospital. They have monthly meetings where you can gather and grieve the loss of your pet.
I think it's a wonderful thing.
It is. And I'm hoping to make a chapter maybe here in Paulsboro and to branch out. And
well, then you got to encourage it. Certainly, if not based in Paulsboro, certainly Gloucester County. Pets are everywhere.
That's true. And like I said, I didn't even know this existed, and trying to get the word out. But the best support I got to admit, was from this town. It really did. They surrounded me and really supported me. And, of course, my wife was right there. She sacrificed many vacations and all because I wouldn't leave the dog alone. So I owe it a lot to her.
Well, there's another example. Excuse me. Pets play an important role in people's lives and people and pets' lives. So as Lenny said, if you're one of those people and you happen to lose one and maybe you don't have someone next to you to talk to, this kind of group can help. So the number Fred put on the screen, which we're going to give to him, which hopefully put on the screen and put the right number on the screen, you should call. Tell him that Lenny sent you. We'll be right back from the Guild Library.
Thank you very much.
Life is a journey that we travel with a lot of uncertainty. When your family is faced with change and you're in need of understanding, direction, honesty, and professionalism, we at the Landolfi Funeral Home have a tradition of assisting you with all of your needs in any way that we can. We offer many affordable funeral services. Please feel free to call us with any questions you may have or visit us at www.landolfifuneralhome.com.
Rizzo Family Chiropractic Center in Gibbstown offers pain relief with a difference. Using specific chiropractic adjustments, Rizzo Family Chiropractic will get to the root of your problem quickly. Bring your headaches, neck, back, joint, or limb pain to Dr. Karen Rizzo. If you have recurring pain, chiropractic can help. Rizzo Family Chiropractic can relieve many sources of pain without extended treatment and ongoing therapy. Give your family the gift of caring professional pain relief with a difference. Rizzo Family Chiropractic.
Come on down Route 55 to the Millville Airport. Visit Smith & Jackson Military Antiques and Firearms, a gun shop with a woman's touch. Buying, selling, and trading firearms and military items, especially seeking World War II, German, Japanese, and American items. Buying single items or entire collections. That's Smith & Jackson Military Antiques and Firearms at the Millville Airport, 21 Peterson Street, next to the Glasstown Brewing Company.
Welcome back. The simple reason we do the show is for Irma and Community Notes. When Irma decides we're not doing the show anymore, we're not going to do a show anymore. So it's time for Community Notes with Irma Stevenson. Irma?
John, I'll probably, once I go to Eglinton, I won't be able to do it. But I figure if Mother lives to 97 and she's going strong at Shady Lane, who take great care of her, and thank you to your Shannon, your niece, who's just a great aide over there. So I guess Irma might 100. We never know.
And before you go on to notes, you had a little more detail on the clock at the top of the stairs. When you come visit here, when you're going to go upstairs to more of the museum side, you'll see a beautiful clock.
When Nana, who was Irma Lodge, the librarian here, passed on in 54, she left money here for a grandmother's clock to be bought. And that was, and you figure it was 1954. So what the clocks they bought for $100, $150 today would be, and it just means so much to me that it's here.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yep.
Yes. Happy birthdays to Shirley Kidd Reed, Gary Funk, Edith Sharper-Bear, Rosalind Coble, Gary Stevenson Jr., Gene Maddox, Larry Moran Sr., Bunny Clay, Glory DeSalvo, Liliana Johns, my little great-granddaughter, is 9 today, Megan Mogar, Brian O'Leary, my husband, Walter, will be 82, March the 4th, and our daughter, Brenda Kay, will be 61, March the 3rd. Ethan Zachary Ryder, Easy Rider, that's another grand. My family, John, they're costing me money this month. Jean Bay, Debbie O'Leary, and Ted Burchichelli, John.
Yeah, we're all wrapped in.
John, I remember your mother, we had a card club. You were upstairs sleeping, and Teddy was maybe 2 months old. We had to get back and play cards. So everybody was in a cradle, and everybody would push the cradle to keep him quiet so we could play cards. You weren't allowed to come down because the house was clean, and there was nothing but smoke. It's one of you guys ever survived with all of us smoking at that time.
They were different times, and none of the four boys took up smoking cigarettes.
No.
My mother smoked until one day she simply decided she wasn't going to.
Yes, and your dad, I think cigars. Your dad was cigars. No, he never inhaled.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Happy anniversaries, a special happy anniversary to Mayor Gary and Raylan Stevenson. It'll be 40 years.
40 years.
40 years. It was just like yesterday, Gary said. Eleanor and Joe Giordano, Betty and Ed Swift, Ida and Jack Otten, and Lisa and Billy Mitchell. Happy birthdays and happy anniversaries. On March 9th, at our Lowen Slacker School on Swedesboro Avenue, the PTO at 6:30 p.m. will have a silent auction. They didn't say Chinese. They just said silent. For donations or prizes, call Marietta Relations 609-617-1478. They buy a lot of neat things that isn't in our budget for the school, and they have a lot of neat stuff. March 17th, Saturday, oyster and ham dinner at St. Paul's, the Methodist Church here on the corner of Broad in Delaware. 2 p.m. takeouts, 4, 5, and 6 are sit-downs. Call Donna Little at 423-5345 for further information. John, this has been going on 40 years. People come from Pennsylvania, everywhere to come and eat our oyster ham, and the oysters are patted. Would you like to look at oysters at 6 o'clock in the morning to pat them, John? No, they aren't pretty, but they're done with love. Paulsboro High School play will be Aladdin 2 on the 15th, 16th, and 17th of March at 7:30. Please call 423-222 for further information, or look, Paulsboro has a Facebook. And John, I picked this really neat pamphlet up, Mother's Day Colonial Tea at the James and Ann Whitehall House, Red Bank Battlefield on May the 6th, 2018. That house is just precious. It's just history. Our guys, I think, came up from Fort Billings up that way and threw the Russians out.
No, it would have been a British at that time, remember?
Where were the Hessians? That's why it's called Hessian Avenue, John.
Yeah, well, the Hessians were from
Germany.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't think they were Russian.
Hessian. I meant Hessian,
Yeah.
John.
It's close
They're
enough.
all right. But anyway, John, it's great. People at National Park, and sometimes go down the river, down at our park. It's a playground for the kids, and watch the planes go by and the tugboats, and it's a beautiful, watch the tide come in and to go out, John. It's a beautiful little piece of history. First federal land purchase, 1776.
On July 6th.
6th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
pretty big. Or was it July 5th? That was the day after Independence Day.
It was after July 5th or 6th.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there for it.
Well, we weren't either, John, but some of our relatives, I'm sure, were hanging on the banks, John.
Or they're making their way over. That's going to do it from the Guild Library. For Fred Buchter behind the camera, for Bill Crane, our producer, couldn't be here, for Amy, who isn't here, for my father, who's sitting at home on the couch, and for Beth, who's watching. We appreciate all of you joining the program. We'll catch up. We still haven't had Glenn Howard on for his Group 1 championship, and we've got to catch up with Paul, his wrestling team, statewide championship again. And as we tape this show, the basketball team's about to go, the boys basketball team about to go into the playoffs as well. So we'll catch up on that stuff as the shows unfold. Irma?
John, it was a great show. What a beautiful place. Please come and enjoy this library. It's done with love, the books, everything, and it's Paulsboro. And go Big Red. Rest in peace.
Wonderful. Till next time.